My lovers, welcome to my channel. My name is Made for Love, and today we are going to do a karmic or third party reading. So, if your relationship has a third party attached, and that's if your person has someone else, seeing someone else, dating someone else, or there's some sort of ex that's hanging around that's kind of impacting the relationship, we're going to look at that connection. So a lot of people don't particularly like these readings, and that's okay. But what I would say is there's always value in looking at what is happening in a third party from a healing perspective. Because remember, this karmic relationship is, if it's still connected to your relationship, is mirroring back to you parts of yourself that remain unhealed, or it's just a reminder of where you don't want to go back to. Okay? So always watch these readings with that in mind. What is this mirroring back to me? What aspect of myself am I seeing in this, even if it's to a very small degree? Okay? All right, so let's get into this reading. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the energy that both people are holding at this point in time, the energy generally, and then the energy towards each other. Okay? So let's begin. I'm going to start by getting their general energies, and this is the Oracle of Mystic Moments. Okay? I don't read reversals in this deck. Don't forget that next week is going to be our dream interpretation class. So if you've not signed up, now will be the time. And I'll probably open May calendar this week because I think that 15th, which was the last of the spots for April, I think that's sold out. I think I have to just schedule some people. Okay? All right, so what do we have here? We have Lorelei. Now, if I remember correctly, Lorelei, I think it's a Germanic myth, folktale, part of Germanic lore. And it's basically this woman that used to lure sailors to their death through her beauty, and I think through her singing. Don't quote me on this, but I think I remember, because it's down in the wine country in Germany, isn't it? I think so. So it looks like what brought these people together was temptation. So that it's that devil energy. It is the energy of manipulation. It is the energy of luring a person and reeling them in only to destroy them. So some sort of narcissistic tendencies. And this is not necessarily the person that your person's with. I think this might have been the energy that attracted them to each other, right? Because we attract what we are vibrating in. So if they were vibrating in manipulation, it looks like that's what helped them stick together like glue and form a trauma bond. Okay, so we have a kind of femme fatale and Casanova, if we're talking about feminine and masculine energy, or Don Juan energy, that's kind of clashing. Okay, and then each personality now fighting for dominance through the manipulation of the other person. Okay. All right, let's see your person's energy generally. Well, we got two. We have the butterfly garden. Well, they're changing, right? So if that was their energy before, the energy of manipulation, look, they have this butterfly right on the crown here. So they are getting a lot of epiphanies, a lot of insight from the universe, and this is causing them to change, to grow in a real way. I mean, look where this plant is growing from. It's growing from the heart. So your person making a lot of changes there in the heart space and reconnecting to their emotional body, because we find that those persons who engage in a lot of manipulation, they're very disconnected to their emotions. All they know is that they want to be in control. Sometimes they don't even know why. And then we have treasured memories, but it is the moon 18. So that's also about shadow work. So what I'm getting from this is this. Your person is in the energy of nostalgia. And because there's a balloon here, I think it is childhood nostalgia. But I also think that they're also going through, like, when I say you're near to death, I guess near to transformation, your life flashes before your eyes. They're getting this kind of life flashing before their eyes kind of episode where they're reviewing all their relationships, and not just the romantic ones, but also the interpersonal ones. And there is some pattern that they have zeroed in on that they think that they need to change, and they are changing. What is this pattern? Underneath the deck, we have religious or spiritual abuse. So some energy of external control. Let's see. Or programming. What is this pattern that your person has identified? Remember, if it is running within them, it's probably running within you, right? So what is this pattern that they have identified that they believe that they need to change at this time? Underneath the deck, we have a stoic upbringing. Now, remember, we just talked about those persons who you find are incredibly manipulative. They're disconnected from their emotional body, right? And we see that a lot with narcissism, right? And we have here stoic upbringing. And what the stoic upbringing requires is that instead of us responding to the highs and lows of life, this is just, you're disconnected, right? Everything you intellectualize, right? And you apply logic. But what this does, it disconnects you from your heart. So everything you're processing in your mind. What else do we have underneath this deck? We have an absentee mother. So there's also some wounding that's connected to the mother energy that is also being looked at. And then we have addictions, and we have parents or guardians. So I think we got it. So there is some sort of way of being, a habit, a program. They call it an addiction, that your person's been locked in, that they learned from their parents. Particularly, it looks like their mother. Particularly from their mother. And it feels like that pattern here is just stoic upbringing. No matter what's going on, they just have no auto response. Everything is internalized. Everything is compartmentalized. Everything is processed through the mind, and they're making, practical decisions all the time and disregarding the feelings in their heart. So how can this look like in real life? That feels like a lot of Caribbean wives. I don't know how else to say it, right? Where they have a cheating husband, and they just stay in that relationship for years and years and years and years and years because they feel like it's beneficial to the family, it's beneficial for the children. So whatever is happening, they just shut down their heart, they shut down their emotions. So when you see them, they're just very shut down and just feel they look defeated by life, but they think that they're doing that for the good of the family, to maintain family ties, to preserve family reputation, to not create drama, not to create gossip about the family. So, they sacrifice themselves, and their wants, their needs, their emotions, for the family, both the nuclear family and the extended family. That kind of readily came through as a example. But if we take that example further, let's think about a child that is growing up in a household like that. Like, what are the messages that they are getting about love, relationships, and how to handle emotions? Well, the messages that they're getting about love and relationships is that, one, masculine energy does not have to be faithful. In fact, masculine energy has to kind of run wild. And also the messages that they're getting is that their partner has to take it. It's normal. It's normal, right? And they may see their mothers as these kind of superhumans that just have no feelings at all, right? And they may treat their partners in the future in very much the same way. And of course, there are many other examples, but that kind of readily came through. All right. I guess it's because it's close to my culture. All right, the karmic. We have day and night. So a lot of conflict. They don't even know how they feel, and maybe it just kind of fluctuates and like vacillates, right? So one minute they're feeling great, next minute they're feeling low. Sometimes they don't even know how to feel, right? Um I feel like there's also this energy of illumination, because if you look at her face, right, there's a lot of light on the face. It reminds me of those old, is it 1920s or 1930s movies where there's a lot of light on the face and then everything is in darkness. So what I also feel here as well is, wisdom, knowledge is coming in, but it's not been integrated just yet. It's still very much on the surface. Okay. I also get the energy here of someone who maybe quite temperamental, and you're really not sure what they're going to be like moment to moment, hour to hour, right? So you're always kind of walking on eggshells with this person. I'm feeling like a kind of Jekyll and Hyde energy as well. With that, so part of them, and then the other part, like, when did I start sleeping with the devil? You know what I mean? All right. Let's see the energy towards each other. I read reversals in this deck. This is the Enchanted Map Oracle. And what do we have here? We have the Field of Dreams, and it is in reverse. So it feels like there was a lot of hopes, high hopes for this connection, and maybe they thought that this connection had a lot of potential. But it feels like, these dreams, these fantasies just never materialized. The potential was never actualized or realized in this relationship. And indeed, what may have started off as, a lot of hope for the future and goals that they want to achieve, it looks like it quickly turned into some sort of nightmare. Your person's energy towards the karmics. Ooh, what do we have here? We have into the unknown in reverse. So what I get from that is like your person has this karmic's number. They've figured this karmic out. Okay. And it's a 7 in reverse. And it feels like the 7 of swords in reverse. And what I get from that is they have unmasked, or they have decoded the karmic. Or the third party. And there's nothing that this third party could do to them now to try to manipulate them that they cannot see through. They've cracked the code. They have cracked the code where the karmic is concerned. And their every machinations or devices or disguises, right? Your person has figured it out, and they've logged it in their mind, and there's nothing new that this karmic can bring to try to manipulate them that they cannot see beyond. Third party's energy towards your person. We have the balancing act. Okay. And you know what that feels like? It feels like that Two of Pentacles energy, right? Up and down, right? And it dovetails with that same night and day energy, right? It's just very unstable, right? So one minute, everything is fine. Next minute, they might be crying. Next minute, they might be shouting. There's also, because there's a tight rope being walked here, I think there's an awareness within the third party that your person has come to the end of their rope with this relationship. And there are very few games that they can play, or very few cards that they can play at this time. Okay? So they know that they have to tread very carefully with your person, because your person is on the brink of, I don't know if it's the dissolution of this relationship, or walking away completely, but they realize that they are treading a fine line with your person at this time, and they can lose your person permanently. I see there are some like little red petals falling away. And red flowers is always about passion and romantic love. So they feel like they've already lost a lot of your person's love and respect. And what they're trying to do is still keep the little that is left. Okay? So that is what is happening right now. Let's look at the emotions that are swirling within these two people, because it's going to give us an idea of what's happening in this connection. Because some of you may not be able to come with me to the extended, but if we look at the emotions that's occurring here, then we can get an idea of what's happening. In the extended, we'll ask directly what's happening in this connection. But let me look at the emotions that each person is kind of carrying around, toting around at this time. We have reckless, risk it for the biscuit, and then we also have helpless. So we have restless and helpless. So somebody feeling very impulsive, and somebody feeling powerless to like turn back the tide, or maybe even powerless to take action. Let's see. Ooh, your person, how are they feeling? They're feeling kind. Okay, so we're gonna clarify all of these. What's the emotion swirling within your person? They're feeling scared. And they're still feeling manipulative. My God. Sorry, let me just put that there. All right, let's see the karmic energy. Emotions that are swirling in their energy field right now. We have awe. I don't know if it's a kind of shock and awe moment. We have empathetic. And we have withdrawn. All right. Spirit, just give us some clarity on what is happening here. Because kind of manipulative are two kind of conflicting energies, aren't they? All right, we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse for me is a karmic energy, and it is a karmic that is not very grounded, someone who's temperamental, and we already logged into that. Someone that doesn't know how to nurture, someone who's disconnected from their heart space, someone who's very obsessed with the material world. This can also be someone that is very jealous, and also, weirdly enough, very stoic. You can't read this person at all because their heart is in a lockbox. Okay. It is like, just imagine the shadow side of Capricorn. That's what it is. All right, why is the person in this energy of kind? What is that about? We have the Star card in reverse, and that's a card of feeling hurt. It's a card of feeling helpless. I feel like they're being kind to themselves. Let's see. And then we have the Four of Cups in reverse, which talks about all insecurities. I think right now your person's being kind to themselves, right? And really diving deep into their self-care, right? And nurturing themselves, okay? They realize that they have a lot of insecurities that they need to work on, right? And these insecurities may have come about because in the past, people may not have been kind to them. Maybe their parents weren't kind to them. Maybe people at school weren't kind to them. I wouldn't be surprised if your person may have been bullied their whole life. So right now, your person is focusing on like rebuilding their self-esteem from the ground up. They realize they can't rely on other persons to be kind to them for them to feel like somebody. They have to do that for themselves. Now they're scared. Why? We have sorrow. 3 of Swords. So there's a part of them that recognizes that, because I'm really noticing this sword, this third sword, it's shaped like a scythe. And a scythe is about cutting something loose, right? And it's a surgical cut. It's done very quickly and done very cleanly. So they realize that they have to make a clean break of it from this karmic energy, from this third party. But they're scared. They're scared because they're trying to figure out, are they making the right choice? 1, are they going to regret any of their decision making? 2, what are people going to say? How the karmic is going to react? Just think about anything that your person thinks can go wrong. Your person's thinking about that. But they know what they have to do. They have to use the scythe. They know that, but they're afraid of the conflict that will happen after this 2 of Swords energy that's up here. Now, they're being manipulative, but because I see that energy from before, them being kind to themselves, them knowing that they have to cut this karmic off, this manipulative energy might be them trying to make a strategic plan. We have here Ace of Pentacles in reverse, 6 of Pentacles in reverse. I think your person's hiding their money. And Magician, yeah. They know that new beginning is coming. And they are making provisions. And part of the provisions that they are making, they are hiding their finances. So whether they are taking their resources and putting it into another family member's account or into a friend's account or something like that, or they might be hiding how much they're truly making or something like that, they are hiding resources from this karmic because they know that the end is coming. Now, this karmic is in awe. What's that about? Yeah, because they see your person taking action and they never thought that your person had it within them, right? I think your person's been talking back. I think your person's been delivering a lot of hard truths to this karmic energy. And then I think this karmic is inspired by the action that your person's taking, by your person rising into their power and maybe even becoming even more attracted to your person at this time because they're coming off as very strong and very powerful. Now let's see empathetic. We have here the 8 of Wands. So now that your person is moving forward, now that they're becoming more empowered, and now that they're speaking up, this karmic is now able to put themselves in your person's shoes, and they're finally seeing where they may have erred in this relationship. This might be the first time that your person's speaking up. And now that this karmic is hearing your person's side of the story, where they're coming from and how they've been experiencing this relationship, now they're really now they are appreciating the journey that your person has been walking. They're finally able to put themselves in your person's shoes. Now this karmic is withdrawn. What's that about? We have the Moon in reverse here because a lot of things have been revealed. I remember your person was there with that Knight of Swords energy. And the Knight of Swords, he does not water down what he has to say. However it comes out tough luck to you that is receiving it, right? So now that this karmic has received this truth, they've had to go in a corner to digest that. You know how the mosquito, after it bites you and it gets its fill, it has to go in a dark corner to digest it. That's what I'm getting there. That's what Spirit is showing me. A mosquito, a bloodsucker going in the corner to digest what they've heard, because they know now that there may be no coming back from this relationship. We have the Tower here. So this is a tower moment, a watershed moment for the karmic, as they finally see themselves through your person's eyes. And it's not a pretty picture. It's not a pretty picture. And maybe spirit showed me that mosquito because maybe that's one of the things that was said, that you're draining my energy, or if you're a soul sucker or something like that, right? Maybe that's why spirit showed me that mosquito. Now, when your person thinks about the karmic energy, where is their head at? Where's their head at? When your person thinks about the karmic energy, where's their head at? We got the same thing, that same Queen of Pentacles in reverse, right? Shadow side of Capricorn. I know Capricorn can come off already as pretty harsh and disconnected from the emotions. So Capricorn in the shadow side can be very painful. We have the Sun. That's about standing in your power and, shining a light. We have the Empress. That's you. And we also have the Two of Wands. Okay. And it says here dominion, taking charge. It's also a course correction or moving in a new direction, doing something differently. So what your person's realizing is that if they want to be happy, they've got to do something differently than what they were doing in the past. And they feel like that thing that they need to do differently is to start making moves towards you. Now, they know it's going to be a long emotional journey to get to you. I mean, look at this winding road, and they have to swim upstream, eh? They have to swim upstream to get to you. But they're accepting the challenge. They're accepting the journey, right? They've already taken their staff to make this journey. So they're committed to this journey. And they feel like this is the only way that they can achieve like true happiness in their relationship. When they think about feeling uplifted, when they think about two happy people coming together to create joy, right? To create joy in their life, they think about you. They don't think that this is something that they can create with this karmic, because this karmic doesn't have any joy of their own, right? They have been surviving off of the joy and the energy of other people, right? So there's a lot of growth that they need to do here in order to reignite that spark that's within all of us that may have been put out a long time ago. Okay? So I mean, these are two people that are they looks like they're moving in two different directions. They have two different ideas of what needs to happen here, right? One person's still trying to hold on, the other person thinks that the only way that I can be happy is to move on. What's holding these people together still? What's keeping these people together? And we have the Star card, and that's hope. What? It's hard to kill, right? It's hard to kill. Hope is hard to kill. You're always hoping that, tomorrow is going to be different. The next moment is going to be different. The next second is going to be different. Any moment now, they're going to change. Any moment now, they're going to show up for you. Any moment now, they're going to be there for you. And maybe you've been doing that in your relationship as well. Any moment now, they're going to leave the karmic. Any moment now, they're going to be the person that I need them to be. Any moment now, I'll be able to depend on them, right? There's always this hope. But at some point in time, we have to end that cycle and deal with the reality that is currently in front of us. For us to create a new reality, we have to deal with the one that's currently in front of us. And I think that's what your person is doing right now. We have desolation. This is a Ten of Swords. Okay. Pain. What's holding them together? Trauma bond, right? And also it's a feel like, oh gosh, we've been through a lot of stuff enough. We've been through enough stuff already. So much pain, so much grief, so much trauma. should we really just give up on it now? Right? Was it all for naught? Is that wasted energy? It's that kind of thing. It's not sunken cost fallacy. I've already put a lot into it, so maybe I should just stay a little bit longer. But when you stay a little bit longer, you just add into the sunken cost of before. What's keeping these people together? We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. All right, so there might be a little bit of financial difficulties, or maybe they have investments together, house together, apartment at least, but there's something here about money being entangled or not having enough to move forward. What's keeping these people together? And this is also poverty consciousness. Okay, what if I leave the situation and then I don't get viewer? Or from the karmic side, what if I leave the situation and I don't find anybody else? So you're just kind of holding on to what you know. What's keeping these people together? We have the Page of Cups. These people could be friends, or they could have children together. Okay, so it looks like there's those kinds of ties that are there as well. Okay, all right. In the extended, we're going to look at what's happening in your person's life right now. We're going to look at your person's heart space energy specific to the karmic energy. We're going to look at how the karmic feels about your person specifically. We're going to look at how the karmic feels about DF or you, viewer. We're going to get a message from the karmic to the DF, and usually it's the higher self of the karmic that comes through. And then we're going to look at what is going to be your person's next move in this relationship within a month of you watching this reading. Okay? Now, what is the advice for you? And we're going to talk a little bit about discernment, it looks like. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. Right? So Spirit is saying, you have your intuition, right? And this is time to really step into that discernment and receive the messages and the truths that you already know, right? Now's not time to apply any kind of logic to what you may be perceiving. Maybe you're just like your person. Maybe you process all your emotions in your head. But Spirit is saying, intuition is about the heart space. And you already have your insights as to what's happening here already. Use it. It says here the divine masculine. So not just use it, but also use it and take action. It says here the frequency of divine masculine supports our strong, focused, and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. So Spirit is saying, don't just discern or see what's happening in front of your very eyes. Take action on it, right? Therefore, if your person is not showing up the way that you need them to show up, then you close that cycle with them, and then you allow space for a new dream to form. Whether that new dream is with the same person, or whether that new dream is to allow somebody else to come in that is also going to meet your needs and desires and help you build the life that you want. But either way, staying passive as a passive bystander in your life and not stepping into your main character energy is not going to serve you. In fact, it's only going to delay new and wonderful things from coming in. Okay? All right, my love, so that was your reading. If you're resonating with this, join me in the extended. You can do that on Patreon, or you can just do it via my website where you just pay for today's link only. But I appreciate every which way in which you support me through private readings, through attending courses, through watching this channel, clicking the like button. Even the dislike button helps, right? Putting a comment down below, even if it's an emoji. It all helps with the channel's expansion, and I thank you. Okay, take care.